Hello everybody, this is a review on the Samsung Dex function on the Samsung 8 series phones as well as the Series 9 phones. I currently have a Note 8 that I use, and unfortunately with the Dex stations it doesn't allow you to have the phone in a case to use. So I came across a product, this guy right here. Comes from Nexjack, just a dongle that plugs in. I can use it with my case. Two USB ports on the side. One is a charging port if you want to charge additional devices. Full-size HDMI on the end, and right here is a USB-C that you need to plug in to power up the device. This other device I have here, this is from the Microsoft series phones. Came out with the Lumia 950, 950 XL. Now this is what they had a couple years before Dex came out, and I prefer the Microsoft experience better. I'm going to hook both of them up and let you kind of see the differences. But with the Microsoft device, this is very solidly made. Nexjack feels good as well. It feels like, it's a good solid made product. It is all made of plastic. Microsoft did use a lot of metal. This is heavy, non-slip on the bottom. It too has a USB-C. This is to plug your phone into this side. Then a USB-C back here to power up the device here. It's got three USB ports. One is for charging, if you've got something that needs a little more power. Full-size HDMI, as well as a display port, if that's what you are using. So these are the two devices we're going to look at today. Let me hook both of them up. I will get the Nexjack up first for the Dex experience, because that's probably what most people are going to be looking at this review for. Nexjack comes in a little simple box, nothing spectacular about it. Of course, Microsoft, their products and packaging is very good, but we'll stay away from that. So let me switch on the Dex. I'll get it all hooked up, and we'll see you here in a second. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I've got the Nexjack dongle all plugged in. Everything's up and running. Had no issues. Everything was just literally plug and play. Again, I'm not using the Samsung Dex station because, frankly, with a phone case, it doesn't work. Everything doesn't line up, and I can't, set the phone down in the station. I am using a touchscreen monitor. I was quite surprised. I didn't know if the Nexjack or even Android was gonna, pick this up, but it did. The Nexjack was 30 bucks, and ordered off Amazon. I had it the next day. It was incredible shipping. So let's talk about some things and show you some things that I like, don't like, and I just think is flat out kind of unacceptable for something like this. This is not new technology. Microsoft had their Continuum that came out 2 or 3 years prior to Samsung Dex here. But let me finish saying, I've got the Note 8 plugged in. It is used as a touchpad. That's what I'm using here. I did plug in a Bluetooth Logitech keyboard. I just plugged in the little receiving device, and it loaded everything right up. I didn't have to do anything. It recognizes the keyboard as well as mice. But let's kind of open up some programs here, kind of show you some things. We'll go with the internet first. Now, this is just a story I pulled up. I pulled up the internet, it brings up all the news stories. I clicked on one, and it just gives you just a phone internet experience. Go to different websites, and that's what I get. I get the phone experience for the internet. Not a big deal, but some people it might be. So I'm not getting the full internet experience, but it does work. No issues, no problems. I can open up Word. Hello, YouTube. Now with Word, you can make it a full screen, just like internet I could, and use the Android version of Microsoft Office. I've played around with PowerPoint as well Excel, and don't really have any issues at all. Now, those of you that don't realize you're using the Android version, it is not full version of Office. There's some things you cannot do, but for your average user, it does everything. So, also as far as printing with with all this. I'm connected to my Wi-Fi network. I go to File, hit Print, and it went right to my laser printer. I don't even have the printer app installed on this phone. So it's able to just recognize it all through the network. So that was really nice. I didn't have to go through to set anything up. Google Maps, this is another fine program, works as I would expect it to. You know, you can make it big, got the default street mode there, go to satellite, there's everything. So it's, you know, some things work just as I would expect them to work, you know, with this. However, there are some programs you open up and all you get is the small window of exactly how it would look like on your phone. No making it bigger, nothing more, nothing extra. This program here would be completely useless to me using it this way. I'd have to pull out my tablet or go to full internet to be able to, you know, use this stuff, or at least that program that I use. You know, got my headphone program. This, I don't care if it's in a big screen mode or not. It's gives me very minimal information. I probably wouldn't even use it on this, you know, as far as the functions go for those headphones. But let's pull up some programs I've got some issues with. First, we'll open up Netflix. It opens it up in small screen phone size mode. Looks exactly the same as it does on my phone. Let's just click play. Now, you play something, you do get a bigger screen. However, it does not let me make it any bigger. This is it. I don't know, let's see if it'll stay on top or not. Nope, it gets covered up. So, there's Netflix. I don't have any speakers hooked up to this, so just using my phone is the noise coming out. So Netflix was a bit disappointing. So there's programs where you're just going to get the little phone experience. Some you can get a full screen and have a better experience. But let's go and pull up a couple of apps that I did have trouble with. I pull up this game. Old Sins cannot run in Samsung Dex. So I get programs that just won't work. If I go to my Movies Anywhere app, it says it's designed for phone touchscreens. It won't even bring it up for me to watch all the movies I've purchased through the various outlets. So with the Samsung Dex, okay, it's okay. It's just gives me a big tablet feel. I do not feel like I'm getting a real PC feel or even a PC-like real feel to it, because I've got programs that won't work at all. I've got some that will only open up in little small screen mode. And yeah, to me, that's just not that great of an experience. So for 30 bucks, hey, I like technology. I always check out what's out there. But let me plug in my Windows phone. I do have the Lumia 950 XL. This is probably my favorite phone I've ever had. I like it better than the Note 8, except for the fact that the Microsoft phone does not have a pen. I use the pen in the Note 8. I use a Microsoft Surface, use the pen on that. So the reason I got the Note 8 was for the pen. I've had other Note phones, but the Microsoft phone is my favorite, and I use it for work. My work phone. I've had Apple. They gave me a bar phone of something else. I hated it, so I just put the SIM card in the Lumia here, and let me show you what that experience is like with the Microsoft Continuum. So we'll be back in 1 second. Okay, everybody, here we are with the Microsoft Continuum experience. As you can see, this is my same touchscreen monitor. Touchscreen's working, but I'm not going to use my hands on the screen. Just, you don't need to see my hands doing everything and blocking it. So with this, I feel like I get more of a desktop experience with the Continuum. And again, this came out 2 or 3 years before Samsung Dex. It's not perfect either. I'm not here to be a fanboy, but I'm just showing you differences between the two. Let's just open up some programs. Microsoft Store looks just like it does on my PCs. Go to Internet. Now let's pull up the same store I had. I think it was Sears we were looking at, and Market Watch we came to. And I feel like I'm getting more of a full internet experience with the Continuum versus the Samsung. We opened up, what was the other one we opened up? USA Today, that was it. So here's the story on USA Today. So I do feel like I'm getting more of a desktop feel as far as internet goes. Let's see, let's go to Word I got down here. So this to me looks more like a Word document would on my PC. It's not fully stretched out. I haven't played with all the settings. I'm sure you could shrink it down. But I love this, you know, everything was plug and play with the Microsoft device. YouTube is awesome. So again, I mean, since it's on a phone, it is not the full Windows or Microsoft Office experience. It's probably the same as the Android. I use it both. Let's see. Maps on here. Works just like I would expect it to on the computer. Go to road view. There we go. And yeah, things work. Things work just fine. Now, there were some issues. Let me pull up the, let's see, for my programs, just like on the Samsung Dex for that comparison. Now, this looks like my phone. This is my phone face. You open it up and here it is. Now, here's all my apps. So I don't have a whole lot installed on here. I don't really have any games. So I can't really critique that, you know, these ones don't work, these don't. Both systems, Samsung Dex as well as the Microsoft Continuum, you just got to play around and see what works and what doesn't. Now, one thing I do like about the Continuum, about what programs will work and what won't, is this right here. If you look at gadgets right there I'm pointing to, it's kind of darkened out. You can scroll down, I got these two, you know, phone installed programs here, they're darkened out. Netflix is darkened out. Now, if it's darkened out, I know it's not going to work. I don't need to, you know, click on it and then have the program tell me, hey, I'm not going to work using the desktop experience for you. So at least I know what's going to work and what's not going to work with the Continuum. Whereas Samsung Dex, I had to click on the program and then find out, hey, I'm not going to work like you want me to. So, you know, I know this is kind of a quick thing about the Continuum versus the Samsung Dex. You know, my final thoughts are, if you're just going to use it for just surfing the internet, basic, you know, office productivity, totally fine. I used to make a lot of PowerPoints using my phone here on Continuum. I just didn't feel like powering up my laptop, and I would just come over to my desk, plug the one cord in, and start making some PowerPoints that I needed to make for work. Now, I will point out, here is a standard 1 terabyte external hard drive, USB 3. Now, the Continuum picks this up just like any other flash drive, any hard drive, anything I plug into the USB, it seems to work flawlessly without any issues, just like I'm plugging it into a computer. I can drag and drop, there's no problem there. With the Samsung Dex, drag and drop wasn't working, and I was using that with a flash drive. The flash drive seems to work with the Samsung Dex. When I plugged this device in, it told me that it recognized it as a Seagate 1 terabyte external drive, but it said it was corrupt and wanted me to click a box to fix that. Well, with how much stuff I have backed up on here, I was not going to tell Android to fix a corrupt device because I didn't know what was going to happen to it. So I didn't do that. I've seen other videos, guys saying that they could not get their external drives to work, but they did get their flash drives to be able to be recognized with the Samsung Dex. I haven't played with both, so I can't really comment, but that is my experience with the external drive. It works with the Microsoft Continuum just like it does on a regular PC. but Android, I was not going to click to have it fix a corrupt drive. So there you have it. There's a quick video on Samsung Dex, which came out I think 2017, and that I'm aware of. Works on the 8 series and 9 series Samsung phones, the S8, S8 Plus, Note 8, as well as the Samsung 9, 9 Plus, and Note 9. And the Continuum came out in, I believe, 2015. I know the Lumia phones came out in 2016. So that's when this device came out with the phones. If I'm going to use one or the other, I'm going to plug in my Microsoft phone, use the Continuum. You can save everything to the cloud, whatever service you use, all that works just as intended. So I've got no problem plugging in a phone, doing some quick internet searching or browsing, or just some quick productivity stuff. Both of them will do that. If you need it for other things, well, you'll have to play around and see if it's worth the money to spend on these devices. Now, Microsoft, they're not making phones anymore, so you'll find them cheap, I'm sure. But I will say this Nexjack for the Samsung Dex experience, it worked fantastic, worked flawless. I've played with the Dex in the Microsoft stores because they sell Samsung phones there to promote their software, the Microsoft software that works on it. And, it works. The desktop Samsung Dex pad that you plug your phone into works exactly the same as this. There's no difference in them other than what the form factor is and who made it. So there you go. Hope this tutorial or kind of comparison was interesting to you. And yeah, I'll make another video about something else sometime soon. Y'all have a good day.